Russia may be preparing to test one of its most controversial and dangerous weapons, the nuclear-powered, nuclear-armed cruise missile known as the Burevestnik, or Storm Petrel. The possible test comes just days before a high-stakes summit between Russian President Vladimir Putin and US President Donald Trump in Alaska, raising concerns that the move could overshadow talks on Ukraine and global security. According to two independent US researchers and a Western security source, recent satellite imagery points to heightened activity at the Pankovo test site, located on the Barents Sea archipelago of Novaya Zemlya. Jeffrey Lewis of the California-based Middlebury Institute of International Studies and Decca Eveleth of the CNA Research and Analysis Organization in Virginia studied commercial satellite photos taken by Planet Labs in recent weeks. They say the images show increased personnel, more equipment on site, and the arrival of ships and aircraft previously associated with Burevestnik testing. While the timing of the preparations may be coincidental, a test this week could directly overlap with the planned Trump-Putin summit in Anchorage. Both Lewis and Eveleth note that missile test schedules are typically set months in advance. However, some arms control experts say Moscow could adjust the timeline for political purposes, either to send a signal of strength or to demonstrate flexibility. In this case, experts say Putin could have postponed preparations, knowing they would be visible to US spy satellites, to signal openness to ending the war in Ukraine and restarting arms control talks. Instead, the activity appears to be moving forward. The Burevestnik, designated the SSC-X-9 Skyfall by NATO, is one of the Kremlin's most ambitious and controversial strategic weapons. Putin has called it invincible against current and future missile defenses, claiming it has an almost unlimited range and an unpredictable flight path. Powered by a small nuclear reactor, the missile could theoretically remain airborne for days or even weeks, evading radar and striking targets from unexpected directions. The missile has taken on greater importance for Moscow since January, when Trump announced plans for a US Golden Dome missile defense shield, a layered system designed to protect against both intercontinental ballistic missiles and shorter-range threats. For Russia, such a defense system could undermine the deterrence value of its nuclear arsenal, making weapons like the Burevestnik more attractive in strategic planning. But the Burevestnik's potential comes with major risks and unresolved questions. Analysts warn that the missile could release radioactive material along its flight path, especially if it malfunctions. According to the Nuclear Threat Initiative Advocacy Group, the missile's test history is poor. Only 2 partial successes in 13 known attempts. Failures have included crashes shortly after launch and at least one incident in 2019 that caused a deadly explosion and radiation release during recovery operations in the White Sea. Critics also point out that the weapon may not offer capabilities Moscow does not already possess. Russia's existing ballistic and cruise missile arsenal already includes systems capable of bypassing some missile defenses. Still, the Burevestnik's development is widely seen as a symbolic challenge to Western security architecture. The possible test comes as the last remaining US-Russia arms control agreement, the New START Treaty, is set to expire on February 5th. The treaty, signed in 2010, limits the number of deployed strategic nuclear warheads and delivery systems on both sides. Washington and Moscow have not engaged in substantive arms control negotiations since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Some experts believe that if Putin wanted to create space for renewed talks, halting preparations for such a provocative weapons test could have been a meaningful gesture. Instead, the activity at Novaya Zemlya risks reinforcing Western perceptions of Moscow's defiance and willingness to escalate. Asked about the possibility of a Burevestnik test, the White House declined to comment directly. The Pentagon, the CIA, and Russia's Defense Ministry also refused to respond to questions. For now, there has been no official link between the missile test preparations and the upcoming Alaska summit. But with high-resolution satellite images now in the public domain, the speculation is certain to shadow the diplomatic event. If the test does occur in the coming days, it could send a powerful signal, not only to Washington, but to NATO allies and other global powers watching closely. It could also complicate the optics of the Trump-Putin meeting, which is already under scrutiny for its focus on Ukraine, potential ceasefire talks, and broader US-Russia relations.